No, but I'll get it later.
Just not a rush.
Thank you. Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Our reverence will be given by our Vice President Danielle Wright, and the flag salute will be given by Board Member Wade Hyde.
Our dear Father in heaven, we are grateful that we could gather tonight as a board and as a district to conduct business and do what is best for our students and our staff. We are grateful for the willingness of everyone in our district to serve students and to show up and do what needs to be done to help them in any way they can. We ask a blessing, Heavenly Father, on our county and our state and our country, and bless the citizens of this country that we can feel love for each other even in our differences and be willing to listen and understand and be patient and collaborate together to return this country to what it is meant to be. Please bless that we can be inspired with the best way to move forward on any decision for our students. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
The audience, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now have some recognitions presented by our Public Information Officer, Jamie Kent.
Yeah, we have a lot of recognitions today, so it's super exciting. First of all, if I can get Shannon, Neely, and Sarah Alfonso to come up and stand up here so we can see them on the camera.
You have Jamie here.
Oh, yay. Jamie couldn't come, so they have her on the phone.
Which way do we stand? This way?
Which way do you want them to face, Robin? Can you see them?
No, I'm short.
Is that good?
Sorry?
Turn the other way.
This way?
Oh, right there. Okay, so we just want to congratulate these three. They have been selected to be in the Utah Teacher Fellow program. This is a really great program that seeks educators who inspire excellence, elevate the profession, and serve as voices for their peers. And this selection shows just the great qualities that these people have and the everyday passion they have and the commitment they have towards their students, and that they're leading by example in their schools. And so we just want to celebrate them and give them a big round of applause and congratulations. And you're in it for two years. So this is like a big commitment. They're going to be doing a lot of work. So do you guys want to go shake their hands and then we'll take a picture? You got her in there. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got it. Thank you. Okay, so now we have our Walmart presentation.
Okay, we're moving on to our Walmart grants presentation. Don DeVoe, Jeremy Hunsaker, and Peter Legua. Did I say that? Legua?
Oh, that must be it. I probably better look there.
Sorry, I'm looking at a paper that hadn't been up at, well, it says the same. Will you come up here and tell us what your names are? It would be great if you'd introduce yourselves to us. Sorry about that.
No worries. Fulfill 29 grants for 17 schools. So it was pretty awesome to go ahead and do that. I do got to say, this is going to be for everybody here, but you know, I've had quite a few opportunities to go ahead and tour, you know, individuals coming in, looking at business opportunities and just the ability to work at Walmart, and the youth that we have coming in recently. I don't know what you guys have done different or put in the water, but it's phenomenal. You guys had a top notch before, and it just keeps getting better. So thank you so much. We hope this contributes. We were able to go ahead. We had associates that really wanted to pitch in. We got some bins over here with just all different kinds of school supplies. So please share those around. I know as teachers, that's gold, and we hope that fulfills a little bit of that. But thank you so much for everything.
Okay. These guys are a little taller, so. Okay, I can't see you. Step that way. There we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
We are going to move on now to our Nucor grants presentation. And the two names I have in front of me are Tara Buckway and Capri Austin. Are they here?
Tara Buckway.
I'm Capri Austin.
And we are here from Nucor, and we're just so excited. I'm so excited. I know Capri is too, to present some grants for our educators, especially for STEM. That's something that's a passion for Nucor, and I love that they're, you know, adding to our community. Some of these grants are going for my kids' teachers, which is so cool. So I was pretty excited to see that. We have quite a list, close to $22,000 in grants that we're presenting, which is pretty awesome.
Is there a particular way you want us to do this? We have the teachers come up and we'll present them with the
Is that
awards.
okay?
Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
So our first award is for $1,000 to Jed Craner.
Thank you.
Second award, $1,100 to Braun Bowden.
Quick question. Do those state what they're going to be
what they're
used for?
for.
We'd love to
Yes,
hear
so-
just briefly what those are used for.
They're on the actual award. So with Jed Craner's, his went to enhancing student health awareness through body fat percentages. Braun Bowden, his goes to shop safety.
Sure. Okay, this one, yay, this one is going to Wade Welton for Folders for Choir Music.
Couldn't be here, so
Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The next one for DNA fingerprinting, a mini lab, goes to Sandy McSparron.
And she has 2. And there's 2 for Sandy.
Oh, there's 2. Here's another one for PP graduated cylinders. I'm not sure what that is. There we go.
Okay, our next one goes for English Language Learner Newcomer Program to Sarah Jan Marble.
The next one goes to Preston Ritchie for custom robot parts using polycarbonate plastics. Goodness.
Okay, so this one is going for Pinewood Derby project to Crystal Pugsley, $500.
I'm looking forward to it.
We'll let you take that one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mary Kay Johnson for replacement scientific calculators for the 9th grade math class. $600. Oh, yeah. And she received another $750 for some graphing calculators for the 9th grade math class as well.
Okay, this one for Logitech crayons, cases, and a charging cart for Talia Schultz.
Carlene Ramirez, $425 for iPad repurposing.
Okay, and this one's going to Callie Pfister for classroom iPad accessories.
$425 for Kirsten Sanders for Logitech crayons, cases, and charging carts.
Okay, this one for collaborative learning submitted by Corinne Udy.
Rhonda Pace, $800 for headphones for her classroom.
Okay, this one, enhancing special education through virtual reality, supporting physical activity, social, emotional learning, and positive behavior from Morgan Christensen for $550.
$1,500 for Joanne Mortensen for calculators for her class.
Thank you. Okay, this one, support counselors' efforts to meet all students' basic needs for Kelly Rose, $1,512.
$200 for Madison Logan for Bouncy Bounce for ADHD.
They love them.
Oh, good.
They've been fighting over which chairs has them.
Okay, sensory well for special education classroom from Haley Gunderson, $750.
Here's $500 that goes towards Let's Get Reading with JoJo Piera and Tori Sorensen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is going to, let's see, for Words That Welcome, Inspiring ELLS Through Literature for Nancy Steed, $250.
To Jack Haynes, $500 for outdoor playground volleyball poles.
Okay, and this one, for More Than a Walk, Trekking Through the Body and Beyond, submitted by Joe Thomas, Judd Sweat, and Tricia Erickson for $1,573. Oh, one of our teachers. There you go. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you.
This was submitted by Valerie Josephson for $600 for phonics skill practice with decodable books.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, for math and science for first grade, this is going to Camille Rudd for $400.
For STEM and 3D printing, this goes to. Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
For STEM and 3D printing, this goes to Christy Kaitner for $450. Now which one's next?
Okay, and this one's going for literacy development for children with physical and cognitive disabilities, submitted by Linda Bourne and Alexis Sundell.
To Ashley Wise in the amount of $320 for Listen, Scroll, Read, and Learn.
Good. I'm like, wait, you're not Ashley.
But she is grateful.
She is awesome. Okay, this is, let's see, for phonics in first grade, submitted by Mallory Serdar.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
To Nicole Jensen in the amount of $800 for Learning Tables.
Okay, for elevating physical activity at North Park, submitted by Ryan Green, $1,000.
Congratulations. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
so you really are, okay. Good to meet you.
In the amount of $110, this was submitted by Natasha Morgan for Math Madness.
Okay, building employment skills for students with disabilities, submitted by Jeremy Hammond for $500. You're very welcome. Thank you. Just really quick, we do open this up in the spring, so if principals, teachers, please submit, and we'd love to be able to help out a little more next year. Thank you.
The new preferences? Should we have the teachers that are here, maybe? If teachers, principals that are here that accepted these grants tonight, would you all come forward and let us get a picture of these two ladies with all of us, please?
Gosh, you guys are so well trained. Good job. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Jamie Kent, could we do a Walmart teacher's picture with the school board? Oh, it's all right. Yeah, Walmart teachers.
I apologize. I didn't realize there were teachers here for the Walmart one as well. So thank you. Yeah, the Walmart teachers and administrators.
Yo. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hooray, Walmart!
My apologies. I did not realize that some of you were here also for the Walmart payment, the grant there. So thanks so much. Yes, we are ready for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda for tonight.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. So moving forward, we love this first board meeting of the school year because we get to swear in our new student board member. And Michaela, we are so excited to have you here with us, and we hope you enjoy this experience, and we are sure to enjoy you. So thanks for being here. And that will be done by our business administrator, Neil Stevens. So Michaela, if you want to walk right up here. Michaela is a student from Box Elder High School, so we're excited to have you.
Repeat after me. I am Michaela Barton,
I am Michaela Barton,
having been appointed to the office of
having been appointed to the office of
Box Elder School District Student Board Member,
Box Elder School District Student Board Member,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and I will
Discharge
discharge the
duties of my office
duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity. Okay.
Welcome, Michaela. Yeah. When you get to your seat, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself? Maybe what hobbies you enjoy and what your favorite classes are? Just any little information like that. We'd like to get to know you a little bit better.
Well, I'm Michaela Barton, as you can see. I'm on the high school drill team for Box Elder, which is fun. I love dancing. My favorite class I'm taking right now is AP Ceramics. I'm in that class for like 2 hours because I TA for the teacher, and so that's fun. It's probably my least stressful because I go to Bridgerland for college classes afterwards. I have 2 dogs I like to play with. I'm the second oldest in my family. I don't know. What else? Okay.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. We're going to move ahead to our public comment portion of the meeting, and I'm just going to read this statement, which we read every month. The information is important. The floor is open at this time for any residents of Box Elder County or staff members to address the Board of Education on items pertaining to education and or the operation of the school district. Participants will be given the opportunity to address the board in the order which they have signed up. Patrons must state their name prior to making comments. Individual comments during this segment of the meeting are restricted to a maximum of 3 minutes. Group presentations are restricted to a maximum of 6 minutes. And for group presentations, a majority of the group must be present at the time of public comment. Group members must be listed on the public comment sign-up sheet and the opening of the comment. Handouts may be used and be distributed to board members. If handouts are distributed, all members of the board and district staff should receive copies of all handouts. The board will not take final action or have discussion on items presented during public comments unless the item is already on the meeting agenda. If additional study is needed to respond adequately to the questions or comments, the resident may receive a written response. The written response may be read publicly at the next regular meeting of the board. Due to the rights of privacy of the employees of the district, the Board of Education will not allow public comments on specific employee appointments, employment, or performance at this time. Questions and complaints or charges against particular employees are to be referred to the superintendent for action, consistent with the law and or district policy. So we have three people tonight signed up for public comment, and the first is DJ Bott.
Madam Chair, thank you. My name is DJ Bott. I'm a citizen of Brigham City. I live at 540 South Main. Back in the 1950s, Mayor Eskelson purchased a large dairy up in the Manaway Valley for the building of a reservoir for the citizens of Brigham City. That man's effigy was burned in the trees of Brigham City on several occasions in opposition to that. I'm so glad that man had the courage to stand alone in doing what was right for his community that he saw in the future. In 2017, Brigham City, and I'm not here in official capacity, but I just want to give you some history of leadership, and this one here in a failure. And I was a part of this one. Brigham City Council considered building a peaker plant in order to help with peaks in our electric production or our electric purchasing. In 2017, we did the studies. It didn't pencil. Staff, it just didn't pencil. We didn't do it. We could have built a peaker plant with 3 generators for $7 million. Back in 2017, it didn't pencil, so we didn't do it. And you fast forward to 2021, 22, when we're paying $1,000 a megawatt for a couple months. We could have paid that $7,000 peaker plant off in 3 months with the electricity that we would have been able to generate ourselves in savings. We're now building a peaker plant. We've just bonded last winter for 26.5 for the same exact peaker plant. Same exact for $26.5 million. Guess what? It still doesn't pencil. But we know we have to do it for the citizens of Brigham City, for our future. I would like to thank you for your leadership and your willingness to stand alone in doing what's right, in my opinion, as a citizen of Brigham City. I appreciate that. In closing, may I make an admonition, not to you, but to the folks behind me and those who may be watching. In the light of the events of today, there have been a lot of posts on the decisions that have been made by the school board. In those posts are very hateful, disturbing, violent comments. I feel it's not the responsibility of the posters or the generators of those posters at what is said, but I would admonish them to bird dog those posts and where they're shared and take down any hateful comment so that it doesn't lead to the events that we're tragically aware of today at Utah Valley University. Please, those behind me, manage your social feeds, delete the comments that are violent, because I tell you what, stupid behavior makes stupid rules, and it only takes a couple of these stupid things to make it so government comes in, and now we're losing our freedoms. Thank you. Don't applaud, that's disrespectful.
Okay, Lisa Marble.
I'm Lisa Marble. I live in Corinne at, do I give my address? 178 North, 6800 West, out where we grow mosquitoes. As a school district board, you work with businesses. You help accomplish financial goals. I can't imagine a business partner whom you might have having an agreement with them would feel appreciated if the school district board went back to them and told them the funding that they are giving you is not enough. Then, without approval of the business, the school district board obligates them for more financial support than they had budgeted for or have the means to fulfill this obligation. We, as your business community partners, would like to have the same deference given to us. The tax increase that you have commuted on the citizens of Box Elder County is excessive and creates an undue burden. Business partners, as partners with the Box Elder School District, is something that we are proud of. We rally around the students, their athletic events, the fine arts programs, trade schools programs, literacy events. We wear school colors. We boast of school accomplishments. We care for our teachers and facilities. We take care of them. We appreciate those that work so hard to make all of this happen. We want to be your business partners and community partners. We are a proud county and enjoy being part of your business. With that being said, we ask you to reevaluate your excessive tax burden you have encumbered the residents of the Box Elder County with. We are a community of conservative of values. These values are taught in our homes, neighborhoods, and churches. We teach our children, neighbors, nieces, nephews to develop intrinsic values. We do not want them to fall prey to jumping on the bandwagon and believing that which everyone else is doing is okay to do. Teaching our students to live within their means is more fiscally responsible than giving them opulent structures in which to study. Sometimes we do not get the most flashiest and the coolest and the funnest toys on the market. It is okay to teach our children that games can still be played if we do not have the most up-to-date scoreboard. We can still revere our mascot if it's painted on the wall, opposed to spending thousands of dollars to have it inlaid in the floor. We, as your partners, ask you to reevaluate your goals. Scale back. Create a learning environment within the means which we can afford. Allow our children to reach their potential by utilizing reasonable resources. We are not saying that we do not want the best for our students. However, we will be helping them more by letting them see that we can create our vision on a downsized budget. Anyone can make something amazing with a ton of money. The hard part is making something amazing while staying with you in your budget. That is true success. As you approach businesses, you have many meetings with them, laying out diagrams, stages of progress, listening to their input, making decisions with that information. In the last month, we have collected nearly 4,000 signatures that are asking you to sincerely listen. Listen to your partners. Listen to us. Let us be part of your planning. Including us in the plans and listening will help us all reach the goals that we have for a successful school district. Thank you so much.
Ben Soholt, did I say that correctly? Okay.
My name is Ben Soholt. I live in Brigham City. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Ben Soholt, and I'm here tonight as one of many concerned residents who took the time to engage with our community. Over the past several weeks, I collected signatures for the resolution you received, and in doing so, I spoke with hundreds of people across Box Elder. What I heard was clear and consistent. People are deeply opposed to the 37% tax increase this board approved. This is not a partisan issue. I heard concerns from Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike. I spoke with those who voted for the school bond and those who didn't. I even spoke with school district employees, teachers, custodians, and food service staff, many of whom were also concerned about this increase. I also want to highlight something troubling. Some school district employees shared that they were afraid to sign the petition, not because they disagreed, but because they felt it wasn't safe for them to express opposition. Whether or not there's an official policy discouraging this, it's telling that staff members feel intimidated about sharing their views. That should concern all of us. The most common reaction I heard from residents was frustration over the lack of transparency in this process. More concerning, though, was the sense that public input was disregarded entirely. After 70% of voters rejected a 22% tax increase, how did this board conclude that a 37% increase, which is an additional 15%, was the appropriate next step? We are still paying for a bond that frankly didn't deliver on its promises. Why should the public trust this plan? If this is only phase one, will this loan be paid off before taxes go up again for phase two? I understand that legally the board has the authority to approve tax increases under certain conditions, but having the ability to raise taxes is not the same as having permission. That authority should be exercised with restraint, humility, and a deep respect for the taxpayers you represent. It is not a blank check to fund every item on a wish list. Responsible leadership means prioritizing needs over wants and seeking community support every step of the way. I've heard some suggest that the public didn't attend earlier meetings, and those were the times to offer alternatives. But that's not how public engagement works. The Truth in Taxation meeting is designed for feedback, not just a checkbox on a process. It's a moment for this board to listen, reflect, and respond. Instead, the board voted shortly after that meeting, giving the strong impression that the public input didn't matter. To be blunt, the message many people received from this board's actions was the same one Rhett Butler gave to Scarlett O'Hara at the end of Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here, for being part of that process. We appreciate it. We're moving on now to our action items. Presenter Keith Meekum, our Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Teaching and Learning, will be our first item on that. Approval of esports.
Yeah, thank you. So just for the record, esports has been going on in our district as a club for many years at both the middle level and the high schools. We have a couple of, Hayden, do you have a chance, and maybe Ben? If you two could just come up here to the microphone. Last year, the Utah High School Activities Association has made the decision to actually make this an official UHSAA activity where there will be a competing season. And since Hayden was involved in the club piece, he can kind of speak to this. We do know that we're really here today to let you know a little bit more about esports, and that the competition will be in this spring, and it will be an official competition amongst people in the state. Depending on how many people join, there may be district level championships. But with that preface, Hayden, do you want to just give us a little more feel, since maybe many of them, or us, have not seen any of this? I've seen pictures of everybody practicing, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy to shed light on any questions you may have. So just like Keith explained, Box Elder Esports is a great opportunity for the kids that otherwise wouldn't have that opportunity to be seen and to represent our high school at a competitive level. We've served as a club in previous years, and I've worked with some really awesome students. It's been a pleasure, really. And so for me to step up as head coach this year has been an honor, and I really would love the board's support as we hopefully make this transition to be a sanctioned event, where these aren't just club members, but these are team players that represent our schools. So if you have any questions, because I'm happy to elaborate on anything regarding esports.
Sorry, will you just talk a little bit about the types of games? I know there's
Sure.
3 competitive games, and maybe just talk a little bit about what that looks like, how long it might last, just to give a flavor.
Yeah, absolutely. So we currently participate in 3 titles. These are the 3 titles approved by the UHSAA. It includes Super Smash Brothers, so a brawl fighter. It's pretty cartoony in its elements. It's nothing that's ultra violent or anything like that. I know that's a big concern for games. We also have Rocket League. It is a competitive racing game, but also a soccer game. It's really hard to explain some of these concepts. And the third is Mario Kart, which is just a straightforward kart racer. So how it works on the daily is we hold practices for an hour where we invite all of our players to come and not just hang out and play video games. Like, that's the misconception that many people have. No, they are coming to get better, to improve their skills. So when we're up against another school, we can do well. So yeah, we practice for an hour, and then from the school we have matches against other schools. The state and the leagues that we've participated in the past already have a system in place that matches us with schools, and then we compete against them. Yes.
So do you do it virtually, or do you travel to
That
these?
is correct.
So you do it
And
virtually
that's
in
what helps us with expenses especially, is that most of what we do is virtual.
That's cool.
Aside from just a couple trips for region and state.
And I was going to say, I thought you were a student, so
Oh.
thank you for
I get that a lot.
clarifying you were the coach. And I also wanted to ask, maybe later you can give me tips on Super Smash Brothers, because I've seen my kids play and I'm like, they just look like they're pounding their things, and there's like, is there any strategy to that game?
It
So
is
there must be.
incredible the amount of talent that these players have. I mean, they really dedicate their time and their efforts to get better, you know, and I wouldn't have a chance against any of our players. They're really just on another level.
So Hayden, a question I had, how many are just an individual? How many get to participate in each game? Is there strategy team-wise where one kind of has to take a fake here so that another buddy can go there? Talk maybe a little bit about that.
So depending on the title, let's start with Super Smash Brothers, since that's the one that was brought up. We have teams. So these players need to coordinate with each other, play to their strengths against their opponents. It is a 1 versus 1, so one of our players against one of theirs. And then in the next match, that's when we switch players around. Hey, you better play this next opponent is this player and such. So there is much strategizing going on. When it comes to Mario Kart, which is a team-built racer, they're playing in teams of 4, where they have to coordinate with each other. Hey, do you have my back? Hey, what place are you in? Hey, I'm sending this item. So there is a lot of teamwork and team building that's involved in this. Same with our other title, Rocket League. Hey, I've got the ball. Will you distract them, get their attention? So there is that type of coordination going on.
I have a question as well. How many players do you have? How many team members do you have currently?
So currently I have, I think, 38 on our roster. And depending on the title, some teams can have up to 5 players each, and we have multiple teams. We're even holding tryouts to see like who's going to be our first string players, who's going to be our backup players. So there is a lot of interest in this currently.
Is there a season, or is this year round?
There is the spring season that Keith mentioned,
Oh,
but
I'm
in
sorry, I
the
missed
fall,
that.
no,
Sorry.
it's okay, it's okay. In the fall, we participate with Kengar for Good, who has given us a grant to help pay for our players' expenses, for equipment, and by participating in their league in a preseason for the fall, we are able to get our players experience and help meet their financial needs.
One thing Ben, if you could just take thank you, Hayden, don't leave, but Ben, just from a CTE perspective and some of the future jobs that are out there about gaming and drone, and maybe just hit that for just a little bit.
I will try. So sometimes it's difficult to make the connection between a video game and the world of work. I'll use an example. Students, as our coach mentioned, students have to communicate as a team and compete in a virtual reality. My wife got stung the other day, and she is allergic, and so she quickly dialed a medical professional, which is awesome and wonderful, but the doctor's not the one that's completing that connection, that link. So what students are learning, even though it doesn't seem like in the day-to-day grind of playing esports, they are preparing for careers that we don't even know exist in the future as we become more and more connected virtually as a society. Another example, drone pilots are currently being hired by the California Power and Light Company. They're using augmented, or I just forgot the VR. Thank you, VR, to fly drones over power lines, and those jobs are starting at $80,000 a year. And those are skills that are, again, honed. I know because I tried to crash my son's drone just the other day that he got for his birthday 5 days ago, and I promptly crashed it 5 feet from where it took off. I have never played video games and have no hand-eye coordination, and so that connection is there. I would also like to mention, I send a quick YouTube short to Mr. Meekum. The 2025 eSport World Finals happened just recently. The total money purse for esports worlds was $60 million for the teams that competed. And just like the coach said, those are teams. Sometimes those games are individual, sometimes they're team sports. Wimbledon in 2025 had a total purse of $66 million. And so that is the equivalent of what this is. If a student plays for an esport team in high school, Weber State is giving them a $1,000 scholarship to join their esport team, regardless of their academic standing, because they have experience and they have entire pods that they have now built for esports at Weber State University. So this is not going away. It's only getting bigger and more specialized. When it was a club, if I may, as a club, we had teams at both the high school and the middle school. Now that it's a sanctioned sport, the clubs at the middle school have gone away. This is to answer your question about how many kids are on a team. We don't know that yet because the middle school kids have all moved into the high school, and so we will have to have tryouts, whereas before it was open at both levels. And so that is, our teams are going to look a little smaller this year, but that's because we had to get rid of the middle school function of it. So, sorry.
So with that, we recognize that people like Hayden and other people that are coaches, they're going to spend time during the off season. They're going to meet with students after school, train, teach, encourage, motivate, strategize. So there will be a stipend associated, which I've shown there, and trying to have 2 people, because of the volume of 38 kids, 1 person can't really be involved. So we've asked for a head coach stipend as well as an assistant coach stipend. We've been working with CTE for some startup costs that can kind of help. One of the things, and Robert, you can probably talk to this a little bit, but we're definitely concerned, virtually about making sure our IT and our what would be the phrase? Firewall, thank you, is secure, and we kind of know. So, and rather than kids as a club, they bring in their own what's the word? Device console. We're hoping to have them created, and I think through CTE funds we can get everybody started. Long term, we just don't want anybody's coming in to the firewall when we really get into this game situation. So it would be the recommendation, I think, for the excitement of something totally new, an activity that the Utah High School Activity Association has been tracking for several years, and with the great support of Ken Garf, we just feel like this is a great opportunity to practice something that I think is a skill that's going to be needed in the years to come. Although it feels like a game, that's what games are there. But this is an activity. It's not a sport, but it is an activity, and so that would be the recommendation from my standpoint. Stephanie.
I just have a question. If they want to be on the team, is there ways for them to work? Football players, they don't all play on the team. So how do you there's things that they can do. Is there things that they can do? Oh heavens.
Right, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, if we have tryouts and there's a limited amount of players who compete, what do the other players do, is essentially what you're asking. And our other players are valued members of our team. So I tell them, come to practice. Things change over time. We have multiple tryouts. We're going to have 2 rounds of tryouts. If you didn't make it for our preseason in the fall, maybe you'll be a starter in the spring. And that's the growth mentality that we are trying to, teach these kids. Like, it doesn't matter where you're starting. When you put your mind to it, your heart to it, you can make it. I had one kid, I won't disclose who it is, the child of one of our educators, who joined last year. And he told me, he's like, Mr. Chavez, I don't know if I can hold up against these other players. I was like, man, it doesn't matter where you're starting. Come to practices. Come, just keep participating. And now he is one of not just our best players, but he's like a cornerstone of the team. Just the mentality, the optimism that he brings. And now that we have sophomores that have come to the high school this year, he's one of the ones helping them out, helping them understand, hey, you can improve. And he was so proud of all the time he put in over the summer to be ready for his senior year.
So lots of people can participate, but only a certain number get to go compete.
To play on the teams, that is correct.
Thank you.
And I will say that if this e-sport activity is like all other sports, it starts at kind of we'll have one team, if you will. Oh, now we have multiple teams. Oh, now we have several teams. We're going to compete. We'll have a varsity. We'll have a JV. We'll have a sophomore. Long term, this could develop into something like that. Short term, it isn't. But eventually, that's just what the state does. Whoa, the interest level's off the charts.
Yeah, and I do want to clarify real quick. These same games that these kids are competing in with esports, these are games that are accessible at home to anybody, right? So these are ones that they can practice at home and then come practice with us to improve that skill. So yeah, it's not like just regulated by some entity called esports. These are, family-friendly games.
Do you think, like robotics has different games each year, but do you think year after year they'll change a game just to give everybody a different approach?
Like update the games that we use?
Yeah, update the games, or maybe go to a different game once in a while just to throw a curveball into
I think so. With the UHSAA starting with 3 titles, I'm sure that they will eventually add additional titles,
Gotcha.
especially as new games, new software, new tech comes out.
Yeah.
But I will say where we're at currently, I don't see much of that happening in the next year or two.
Oh,
But in the future, I can see that.
Yeah,
And then
awesome.
we'll expand our program accordingly when we get to that point.
Okay. So with that, I would entertain a recommend. That's our recommendation, and thank you for listening.
I want to
Okay, I
make
would
one
like-
comment. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to make
You
a
were first.
motion. Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the participation in the UHSAA of esports at both Bear River and Box Elder High Schools for the school year of 2025-26, including the associated fees for participation and increasing in the program in the future as interest dictates.
I know the motion made, I wanted to make a comment on,
Okay.
is that okay? President? Where I work at Northrop Grumman, we're really expanding our robotic automation, and I'm seeing the kids that come out of school that have the experience, and they are much superior in how they can program and control because of that experience. So very, very much buy into the discussion argument that's been made. Although I would say that we need to really think about what was discussed to make that connection, because helping the students connect what they're doing with the workplace is extremely critical, that we think about how we're doing that and look at the technology and how we connect that. So great opportunity for these kids, but we need to really help them make that connection. So let's keep working on that.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Coach. All right, I did too. Thank you, Mrs. That's awesome. G2, approval of amendment to 2025-26 general student fees and deposits, increasing FBLA participation fee and intervention student drug testing.
Yeah, so thank you very much. We have Corey Thompson here from Box Elder High School, who is our FBLA advisor. That would be Corey Thompson the second, not Corey Thompson, who you're thinking. Corey's over here to your right. But anyway, we appreciate the work you've done. He has a special opportunity to partner with the Utah Jazz to take some kids in FBLA to go see not the game, but the inner workings of the business side of this, and that is the reason for the increase. And so, anyway, we just thought that was such a great partnership to be able to have kids go down and see the business side of the Jazz and not necessarily the what's happening on Friday night. And so you're going to see that fee, and he had actually had it ready, and somehow between him, Jesse, me, and you, it should have been approved back when we did it, but it wasn't, and so we're asking for that increase, as well as, and again, that would also apply to Bear River High, but again, these are maximum fees that we're approving, not the fee, and so Bear River could go up or down or wherever their spending plan says. In terms of the intervention student drug testing, as part of our Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions with students that might be struggling with any type of drug struggle, there are times where, as part of that intervention, we'll ask a parent to pay for some drug testing to help support their child. And we didn't have that anywhere, and so if we're going to ask a parent to pay the fee, we felt like that needed to be on here. So that's another thing that we're asking for that change, and it would be $25, which is the actual cost of the test. And then the last thing I want to say, but certainly you don't vote on it here, but at the bottom in our consent items are going to be some new clubs. And with those new clubs, there are some fees. So anyway, for this, we're asking you to approve FBLA and the student intervention drug testing. It has nothing to do with the annual testing that athletes would do. But then when you do have the consent items, just know that when you approve consent items and those clubs are in it, that there's a fee associated. And they're very minor. I think the most is 25 and the smallest is 15. And they then would be placed on this fee just because you've approved those. Is there any questions? Anyway, with that, we would ask that you would vote on extending and increasing those two in particular.
I move we approve the amendment to the 2025-26 Box Elder School District General Student Fees and Deposit Schedule to reflect new fees for the FBLA Club, Student Intervention Drug Test, River High School Art Ops Club, and Box Elder High School Auto Club.
And those last three are the ones that are down in the consent items. So if that changes, but that's, anyway, I didn't know exactly what to do there. So thank you.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. That motion passes. G3, resolution to receive exempt status for days off for memorial services for fallen officers in Box Elder County. Superintendent, will you take that one?
Well, as I'm assuming most of you know, we had a tragedy at the end of August in our school district and in our county and in Tremont City, more specifically. And the decision was made after a survey sent out asking our employees how many of them wanted to attend services. And with the high number of folks that wanted to attend, plus even more strongly the feeling that it would be very mindful of us to respect those 2 days. And so with that, we decided to cancel school those 2 days, postpone, cancel, whatever you want to call it. Now, when we do that, we have some options. I spoke with the Assistant Superintendent at the State Board of Education, Elise Newey, and we had a couple of options, whether to ask for exempt status or to be able to have virtual days during those 2 days. And we felt like at the same time, having virtual learning during those 2 days would not honor the fallen officers, plus it would also not be very effective. It would just be kind of a, I'll be honest with you, kind of a masquerade. And we also had another option to make those days up later in the year in a variety of ways. For instance, one of the Christmas Day breaks, we could call it a virtual day. One of the Easter breaks, we could call it a virtual day. And in the end, my team and I just decided it would be best if we just asked for exempt status. Now, in order to do that, in working with Elise Newey, we need to make a presentation to the Utah State Board of Education, and I have prepared a letter. I'll read that letter now, and I've got Mrs. Summers' signature line at the bottom and mine, and I did mine because I wrote the letter a little bit in first voice, and so I felt like it looked kind of different to have her just sign it. So I've got it dated for today's date, September 10th, 2025, to the Utah State Board of Education, 250 East, 500 South, Salt Lake City. Dear Utah State Board of Education and State Superintendent Molly Hart, as I'm sure you're aware, on Sunday, August 17th, 2025, Sergeant Lee Summers and Officer Eric Estrada were killed in the line of duty. This occurred. What did I say? I apologize. Lee Sorensen. This occurred in the northern Utah town of Tremont. This tragedy was one of the saddest events that have occurred in our county and our school district in many, many years. In my 25 years as a school superintendent in the state of Utah, I've not witnessed an event that so incredibly affected the entire community. The outpouring of love and concern for all involved was a testament to the goodness in people and the entire Box Elder County family. Because of the enormity of this sad situation, the police officers were honored at a viewing at Bear River High School from 3 to 7 p.m. on August 27th, 2025. Their funerals were held at the Utah State University Spectrum, with Officer Estrada's funeral on August 28th and Sergeant Sorensen's held on August 29th. Both funerals were held at 10 a.m. Taking into account the number of family, friends, patrons, Box Elder School District employees, and students who wanted to honor the fallen officers, the Box Elder Board of Education allowed the Box Elder School District leadership team, led by me as the superintendent, to cancel the school days of August 28 and 29. Considering the number of employees and students who were planning on attending the services, we did not feel we could have virtual learning based on the ineffectiveness of that learning on those days, but more importantly, to fully honor the fallen officers. This letter is a request that those 2 days be exempt from the required 180 days for Box Elder School District for the 2025-2026 school year. This letter was voted on and approved at the September 10, 2025 Box Elder School District Board of Education regularly scheduled board meeting. Sincerely, Tiffany Summers and Steve Carlson. Now, that last statement I put in there in hopes, knowing that the board will still vote, but in hopes that the board would follow my recommendation to make a motion to approve this letter to be sent to the State Board of Education. And then when the time comes, I'll work with Elise Newey and find out if they would like to have presence from myself or the board president and go to their school board. So with that, I turn that recommendation over to you.
I move that we approve the resolution to receive exempt status for days off for memorial services for fallen officers in Box Elder County to the Utah State Board of Education.
I can second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Thank you, Superintendent, for getting that letter written. All right, we are moving on to our information items. The first one is our Transportation Director, Jason Sparks, our Transportation Field Trip Report, and I'm so curious for this information.
Well, I just want to bring, why we asked Jason here today was last year, we had a lot of concerns, and there was some problems with some of our field trips being too short and not having enough opportunities.
Correct.
And so we worked quite a bit at trying to find a way to do that. Jason came up with some really good ideas, and at the time, I believe he was asked to come back and report on how that worked out.
Correct.
So therefore, we're here today.
Okay. And so what the difficulty became is when we switched the elementary schedule and secondary so we could double run. What that created is it shortened the time for the elementary students for their field trips because we had to have the buses back in time to pick up the secondary students. So it shortened that time frame. So what we brainstormed and came up with this plan is, one, a lot of the field trips the elementary schools were doing were occurring in April and May. And my thought was, what could we do to encourage them to spread that out throughout the year so that we could support them coming back just as elementary schools get out. So with that, what we set up was we put out a calendar, said we'll guarantee 2 buses on both ends for you to be able to return back at 3 o'clock instead of 1:30, which gave them that extra time. And so what this is some data from that. And so as you can see, we were able to move 109 field trips off of typically April and May, and those occurred before that. We still had trips that occurred after in April and May, but that significantly improved that opportunity. And so that breaks that down. Some months had a lot more than others. It was interesting how, and this is accurate, both ends had the exact number of field trips last year. I don't know. How did that work? And I double-checked that, triple-checked that, but it worked out. And as you can see, it's different months, but it totaled out the same. And so we ended up with, again, 109 before April 1st, and then 113 after. As I visited with principals, and some of them can share, and schools, they really appreciate this, and it was enabled them to have that extra time. What's interesting is with this, we increased the mileage of an average elementary field trip by 40%, which tells me with that time they were able to go further away and to go to those places they wanted to go. So, questions about that? And our plan is to continue that plan. We're already having schools scheduled, and it seems like there's even more field trips that are going to be before April.
Any questions?
Not a question, just a thank you for doing that so that the field trips could still be an important part of the curriculum and the kids' experiences.
Yep.
So thank you.
We created a problem, so we needed to solve it, and I feel like this has done that.
Yep, thank
you. I was just going to say, I remember the comments we got from the board of parents that went on the field trips and they felt like they got there on the field trip, were there for a half hour and then had to come home. So great job listening to concerns from parents and coming up with a great solution. Thank you.
Yep, you bet. Thank you. Any other questions?
Just, Jason, I every year we have you do another presentation,
Yes.
but I would like to ask this one question because it amazes me every time I hear that. In one day, how many miles do our buses travel in Box Elder?
9,850 miles in one day.
9,850.
So if you were going to do that, you could leave San Francisco, drive down the coast of California, across the bottom of the country, down the bottom of Texas, all the way over to Florida, to the bottom of the tip of Florida, back up all the way to the top of Maine, and then come back across, and you would still have miles, and come back to San Francisco. We do that, by the way, and I hope this is okay, Neil, if I share this. We do that as the most efficient in the state. If you look at those miles and the efficiency we're doing, we're 1.6 million more efficient than any other district in the state with what we do. I have amazing people and amazing jobs. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Okay.
Thank you. All right. Our early learning plan presenter, Ashley Nelson, is here to present to us.
Hello. Jamie and I are going to tag team this tonight. The early learning plan has been under me traditionally, but we have a lot of math goals. So Jamie's going to talk about our math goals. But first, this first slide, we are going to report on our last year's goals and how we did. So last year we had an early mathematics goal that by the end of the year, our first grade students will perform at or above benchmark in advanced quantity discrimination measure. And that's when they look at two different numbers and they have to say which one is larger. We wanted them to increase by 10% from beginning of the year to the end of year. And we did that by focusing on strategies to improve fluency and focusing on number sense understanding so that we could increase that number identification fluency. So we started at the beginning of the year at 56% and we ended at 66%, so we made our 10% goal, so that was exciting. Our second goal was a literacy goal, and it was that by the end of the year, our second grade students would be reading above benchmark in oral reading fluency and accuracy, and we were going to increase that number by 5% from beginning of the year to the end of year. And we did that by increasing opportunities to read, exposing students to appropriate grade level text, providing teachers with feedback on letters observations to increase the number of students reading at grade level. At the beginning of the year, we were at 34%, and end of the year, we were actually at 37%, so we only increased 3%, and we did not quite meet our goal. So looking forward to, yeah, absolutely.
Above benchmark though, right? So that's
above benchmark,
blue?
so that's blue.
Okay.
Yes, yes. It used to just be green, like that on grade level that are or on benchmark that our state asked us to do, and they have bumped that up to blue. We want them performing above. So the learning plan changes for this year. Instead of having one math goal and one literacy goal, they actually changed it to be 2 math goals. And then the other changes that we just need to present to the board. You guys don't have to approve it. We're just going to present to you what we did. But we did have Tiffany join us to our planning meeting. She helped us write the goals, so we appreciate her support.
Ashley?
Generous.
Yes.
When you said they changed it to 2 math goals, who's they?
The state. Yes. Okay, Jane.
All right, so Ashley deserves a lot of this credit. She had already started this work, and then I came in July, so I came into the meeting that Tiffany was at. So this year we have 2 goals, and they're both on computation. So one's for first grade and one's for third grade. First grade, they start learning addition and subtraction, and then in third grade, they start doing division and multiplication. So you have new skills, and so those were the 2 grades that we focused on, and that's where the data was also lower. So our goal is that by May 28, 2026, Box Elder School District will increase the percentage of first grade students scoring at or above benchmark in computation by 25% from the beginning of year to end of year. And then it just talks about like the skills that they're going to use to apply that. So that's our first one, and then our second one is also a computation goal that they will increase the percentage of third grade students scoring at or above benchmark in computation by 10% at beginning of year and end of year. And then it talks about the skills that they'll use to do that.
Can I just ask a clarifying question? So when they say so on the data where it says 19% increase, is that
That was last year's.
last year's increase? Gotcha. Okay. So not the percent of who was good, because that was like 5%. What's up with that? That's the increase. Okay, that helps.
And
Thanks.
to make the goal, what they have you do is look at our increase from the last 3 years and do an average of our growth from the last 3 years, and then add 3 to 5% to that, to our average. So that's where we got the goal from. And then we just wanted to let you know, although we don't have it required from the state to have early learning plans for literacy, we do have many literacy goals. They're specific to each grade level. Our grade level teams have helped me design goals specific to each one of their grade levels for literacy. So didn't want you to think that we were just dropping our literacy goals. We have lots of literacy goals. And if you care to look at it, there is a link down at the bottom that shows you every single grade level's giant plans, what their goals are, what our action steps are. So I am happy to answer questions about any of that, but it's a lot. So just wanted to let you know we have plenty of literacy goals. Don't worry.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment for the board. Sitting in on this, I didn't help write the goal.
You were very
I was very present and I paid attention, but that's the professional's job, right? But I was so impressed because a discussion happens about when they're trying to decide what percentage of goal to set. That team that wrote these goals doesn't shy away from setting a really high goal. And I appreciate that because there is a risk that maybe that goal might not be met. But at the same time, if we're helping students learn at high levels, we are setting high goals, right? And I was super impressed with that committee, with your team. Anyway, you know your stuff. You know what you're doing, and I appreciate the work that went into that, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I'd like to make a comment too. You might be asking yourself, but if you looked at the board agenda, why Jamie's here, because she is the director of our public relations, but she's also the director of our foundation. But we have also decided to try to find content specialists throughout that can go, because there's a multitude of meetings that we have all the way from the Northern Utah Curriculum Consortium, which is all the Northern Utah area districts, and the state of Utah, that there are meetings that have content specifics. And so we're trying to get specific people to go to those meetings so that Heidi Jo or Keith or somebody isn't just driving to Salt Lake all the time. So we have more people able to more specifically align what we're being required from the state. And Jamie that's one of the hats Jamie's wearing. So that's why she's here tonight.
And I'm glad you pointed that out, because I think we as a board know, but I don't know if our public understands that our directors wear many hats. You all have so many different jobs that you're accomplishing just as one person. So thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff Morris is here to present to us about AP and Acadience results. Thank you, Jeff.
You. I get the pleasure of presenting the highlights from our evidence of learning. That's what they've told us we should call data now, is evidence of learning. So I have two great things that are going on, one elementary and one secondary. Two of the data points that we really value as a district, because they show, are we getting the essential early literacy and numeracy skills that we need, and are we able to apply it in great settings like with the AP exams? So this year, our AP pass rate went up to 69% overall. You can see right there the breakdown of the number of students and then the percent that scored a 3, 4, and a 5. And so that 69% is great. We had 600 total exams taken by 555 students. So I want to talk about those two numbers here in just a minute, if we could go to the next slide. This is the participation of AP over time, and I went to Ben Wiley the other day to just verify some of these numbers, because looking at the schools individually, the increase in number of students participating from 21 to 25 is astounding. For example, Bear River has over 100 more students taking AP exams, and they're passing at a higher rate than they were in the 21 school year, right? So you can see that 600 is higher than we've ever been. You go back to that 21 school year and it's 153 students more than what we had taking it, and we're passing at a higher rate than we were with those fewer students, right? So you can see the number of students and the number of tests taken both went up significantly over the years. Okay, our pass rate, we did have that high of 70 in the 23 school year, but we've consistently stayed right in that range, 67 to 70 over the past 4 years, and we've added more students taking the test. So more students are passing the AP exams, more students have access to those AP exams as well. All right, and then this was the breakdown by subject area, which I was just thrilled to see all these subjects and how many that were offering the tests in, and to change these numbers, they were going up in every area. If you look at the titles that are in black, those stayed the same or may have dropped some from last year to this year. The class titles in blue, or subjects, those ones all had an increase. Some of them with as much as 35% increase in the percent of students passing. But some of these are extremely rigorous courses. Biology, calculus, chemistry, Chinese, all of those showed increases from the year before, right? And I don't know how you would do in each of those courses, but I would struggle in an AP course at this point in my life, I believe. So then here we have our by ethnicity. Just wanted to keep that kind of in our mind and make sure that we know. We have some low numbers in certain areas, but in particular, our Hispanic Latino students increased by, I'm thinking the number was 44% on their pass rate, but also there was a dramatic number higher of students taking the AP tests. With that, I'd have to verify those exact details, but our Hispanic Latino students passed the test at a higher rate, our Caucasian students as well, and then our students 2 or more races. I believe we had 2 or 3 last year that took it, and this year it was 13. So to see more students getting that opportunity is a wonderful thing. Okay, and so then we switch from the 11th and 12th graders all the way down to our kindergarten through 5th graders. I just wanted to make sure that you knew the success that we're having as Box Elder School District with our early literacy over the last several years. This is a graph by grade level, not graph, but data by evidence of learning by grade level. Some of the spots are empty because the state stopped publishing that data for 4th and 5th grade, and then they haven't published the statewide data for end of year 24-25 yet. So from the 21-22 school year in kindergarten, we went from 81.5% of our students making the benchmark to 89% as a school district. That number is unheard of. As I compare it with other districts in the state, it is significantly higher. than the majority of the other school districts. Our all-day kindergarten has been a huge success for these students, with Title I schools even hitting 88% benchmark at our most highly impacted Title I school. Yeah. Anyway, love that data. You can see our first grade has gone from 62% to 78%. Our second grade, 65.9%, all the way up to 77. We were averaging somewhere around 70% of students hitting benchmark in the 22 school year, to an average of about 77% in the 24-25 school year. That's all around kindergarten through 5th grade in our reading scores. We now have our second graders, first graders, and kindergartners all had all-day kindergarten, and we see that as a huge benefit to our students, and that evidence of learning has gone up because of that opportunity that they've had. And then you can see more specific numbers that I've listed right there, right? So then in our Acadians math, we've done something similar. This test started in the state in the 21-22 school year. You can see we were at 49%, 56, and 55 in Box Elder School District. And now we're at 79%, 72%, 79, and 70. Everybody is now above 70% in that. And our second grade is doing amazing things. We have classrooms in second grade getting 100% on their growth goals and 100% proficient. We've seen some wonderful math instruction in second grade there, but you can see those results in front of you. Yesterday, we received notice from the state about our third grade literacy initiative with the state. The goal is for 70% of third graders to be hitting that blue or above benchmark. So not just at benchmark, but above benchmark by the end of the 27 school year. And so they published for the whole state all of the districts and where they were currently. When you compared Box Elder School District to other school districts, at first I looked and said, oh, we came in 11th of 41. That's not bad. When I looked at the school districts that scored above us, all but one of them had an enrollment in their school district of less than 4,500 students. We're at 12,000 students in our district, and when you looked at us compared to other districts with more than that 4,500 enrollment, we scored second in the state, right? It is a very different thing to lead a district of 12,000 versus a district of 4,000, and to get that many teachers, that many classrooms, that many students scoring not just on benchmark but above benchmark is a huge success. And I just wanted to let you know that we're on our way toward that 70. It's going to be a stretch, but right now we're one of the leaders in the state. We also, our growth over the last 3 years, because that's what they published, was almost twice what the average growth in our state was for those third grade results. So are there any questions or comments?
I just want to scream, woo-woo!
I'm sure Jamie will help us do
Thank
this,
you.
but we have a huge thank you to our educators and paras and those people in the trenches, as we say, right? Thank you to the work that's being done here. Thank you, Jeff.
If I might, I'd like to echo what Mr. Morris said. I know I say this too much, but I was a superintendent in 2 other school districts, one of 1,000 students, and they score really high. That's probably one of the ones. But I got to tell you, the demographics in that community are a lot different than here. And demographics are important when you look at the number of two parents in the home and those types of things. And I was also a superintendent of a school district of 3,500. And it is a much tougher stretch to get 12,000 students with over 700 certificated employees with all of the paraprofessionals headed in the right direction. And I think I need to, you know, as far as this goes, you know, you start somewhere. So I'd like to start at the bottom of this and thank Heidi Jo West for directing this. So we'll say the bottom. And then that works its way up through the directors, Ashley and all those that have presented tonight, and Jeff being the assessment director. Then it works its way through the principals. And it works even through our assistant principals and our academic coaches, instructional coaches is the word I was looking for. But then at the very top of that whole pyramid, where the rubber meets the road, is great teachers who've bought into what we're trying to do as a school district to help our kids be this successful. And then, you know, on top of that, how many people can you see stand at a podium and get emotional about evidence of learning? And so, Jeff, thank you for that, which I commend you for. He cares about his job, you know, and we've been fortunate. We had Jeremy before him. What big shoes to fill. Jeff has stepped right in and took the ball and been running even a little bit further and harder. So thank you very much. And I think this is some of the greatest, this is what we're all about, ladies and gentlemen, what we've just heard today. So thank you, guys.
Yeah. Can I make a quick comment? I think this is a great example of good district leadership and buy-in by everybody down. It's kind of like that water to the end of the row analogy. Like if communication isn't happening and we're not collaborating and working on proper things and making sure everybody gets the information all the way down, and then people executing. I know there's all these football analogies like you do 1/11 of whatever it is. And I really, really feel like our district is, I can see the growth. I can see it in the time I've been on the board, and it's that collaboration and working where you're doing your job and you're trusting the people to do their job. And I just commend our leadership team and our teachers. I wish I could give them all a big hug, high five, whatever is appropriate. But like, I know what those, you know, I'm a secondary teacher. I'm like, I don't know what to do with little kids like that. How do you keep them learning? Like, how do you teach them how to read? I don't know how to do that. So I'm just thrilled. I'm fabulous. And thank you, Jeff, and all those who've participated in doing that.
As always, when you list a group of people, one of the levels I missed out on was our grade level teams that come together. They have somebody from every school that's represented in each grade level at the contents. They come together and meet with both Ashley and Heidi Jo, and they talk a lot about this. And that's that same group of people, the instructional coaches, that go back with the like message and make it happen at the schools. So I just wanted to add that in there. Thank you, Heidi Jo.
I just want to add another shout out. Really great job. These numbers are amazing. And thank you to everyone who, it's evidence of learning, but it's also evidence of collaboration and data-driven statistics and tracking. And really, I know, you know, there's different levels, and hi, Joe, or someone else could maybe explain it better, but for elementary, I know they test weekly for some, depending on where they are, blue, green, red. If they're green, they test monthly, but they are catching those kids all year long, every week, trying to catch them up, and it's a really big, huge team effort, and it's really great results. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Moving forward, we are going to have our CAPS update by presenter, our CTE director, Ben Wiley. We always love it when Ben's here.
I don't want to go after that. That was, by the way, thank you, Board Member Smith, for your recommendation earlier. Mr. Summers also recommended something about robotic surgery. So I will get with esports coaches and get some guest speakers from industry to come in and visit with those students. So thank you for your recommendations. I didn't know the back TV wasn't going to work, so I made this really awful PowerPoint that none of you will get to see, so I apologize. Oh, good. It's not that exciting, and it wasn't done on canvas, so it's not cute and adorable. Thank you, Superintendent. I'll take that to heart. About a year ago, I came to the school board and explained the opportunity we had to join a consortium and create a CAPS program with Cache and Logan School District. On August 21st, we had our launch night with parents and students. And my PowerPoint that you have is just, I tried to channel my inner Mrs. Kent and take photos, and I did a poor job, but on my first slide you can see that was the getting to know you moment. Like I mentioned earlier a year ago, the CAPS does not have a traditional classroom environment. The CAPS business, you can see there, all of the students have been issued state-of-the-art laptops as part of their curriculum. There is no sit and get. The first day of class, they are partnered with an industry professional, and they are working on a business project. Our pitch to businesses, we ask businesses if you have a project that you've been trying to get to. Now, this is not the project that's top on your list, and maybe not even second or third, but maybe further down if you have a project, 8th, 9th, 10th, maybe even further down that you've never been able to get to but always wanted to. That's the kind of project we want our students to experience. They only have a trimester, so they only have those 12 weeks, but they're working directly with a mentor in the world of business to get projects up and running. If you'll move to the next slide, Keith, please. Assistant Superintendent Meekum. CAPS is just shortened. It's for capstone. It's meant to be an experience at the end of the pathway. So a student that's taken every class we offer, maybe they are not quite ready to jump into Bridgerland, or maybe they have gone to Bridgerland and they've graduated. They still want something in the world of work, if that makes sense. And so this is their capstone. This next slide has the classroom for the educators, the aspiring educators. Again, not a traditional classroom. Students that will come here, they will be bringing their experiences from their internships. Our students will not be doing their practicum hours or their internship hours across the mountain. They will be working with our teachers on this side of the mountain in our district. But they will be going twice a week to that environment, and you can see they're set up in pods so then they can share their experiences with other educators. We have 8 students that are ready for second trimester. We are teaching first time ever. We're teaching aspiring educators 1 at Box Elder High School. We have 28 students enrolled in that class. Those students will then be able to go to CAPS in third trimester or first trimester of next year, and then get their next level of coursework and actually end their coursework with the paraprofessional exam. Yes, sorry.
I'm sorry, I just was curious with is it for juniors then, going into senior year? Are we working with sophomores? What is our age?
The CAPS program is for seniors, but the coursework building up to it is for the juniors. So on the south end, again at Box Elder High School, we have the Educator Professionals 1 class. I just slaughtered that class title, I apologize. On the north end, because of credentialing, Mrs. Tackett is teaching TIL 1010, which is the college version of professional educators. I'm meeting with Assistant Superintendent Meekum and some of our secondary administration tomorrow at 1 o'clock with Utah State, and one of the questions I will be asking is can we get Mr. Gerlach credentialed so that he can teach the TIL 1010. So then that's a concurrent enrollment credit for our students on both ends of the district. Back to the CAPS education, when they're finished, they will have taken the 2500 level class at Utah State. Mr. Torrey, who you see in the middle of the little picture, right in the doorway under CAPS Education. He has the credentials to teach the 2500 level series in the educator curriculum, and then students can go directly to Utah State in the 3000 level class, which is where you start in the education program as a declared major or minor in education. The next slide is the create space. We have not gotten this far as the CAPS programs. Obviously we will be growing, and this will be one of the new pathways in the coming year. This is just an innovation space. All those tables, all those chairs are on rollers. The little picture, I know I'm not very good at taking pictures, Mrs. Kent, but you can see on the back wall underneath the cash caps, those are 3D printers and engravers. They are all state-of-the-art. Those filing cabinets are completely full of brand new tools. The engineering program will be coming online this year, and again, they'll be working with anyone and everyone that wants to work with students, and there will be no set curriculum. There's no sit and get. From day one, they'll be partnered with engineers, and they'll get to start working on projects, whether that's prototypes that they're making with 3D printers or laser engravers. You can see the drone on the table there next to the bucket of scissors and pens, and it's a pretty cool space, and that's where the next pathway will be. I believe the next slide is the
Ben,
working.
may I
Yes.
ask?
Yes, go ahead, Superintendent.
This, all of this great equipment, this is based on being able to get grants, and the reason we're able to get those grants is because cash included multiple people. Anytime you have a consortium, the grants become much more flowing. Is that
That's correct. They give priority to rural school districts and to the amount of partnership you have. The northern part of our state is first, not just in our state, but in our region for manufacturing. We also produce a vastly higher number of educators through Utah State and Weber State than other areas of our state and other states nearby. And business just demanded it. When we told them halfway through the year that we didn't think we could roll out business, the businesses came to us and said, no, we won't accept that. How much money do you need? And so businesses have helped fund some of the things that you're seeing, because they want our students ready to work, and they're willing to help us make better students, I guess.
I think that reflects what the Walmart person said, that they're seeing better quality kids come out.
I would agree with that. And some of the students that I have gotten to know through CAPS, you would think that raising the bar, you worry that kids will reach for it. And the truth is by raising the bar, kids look at it like, aha, I can do that. I'll show you. And not only do they get there, but they get past there. They don't just stop and say, oh, this is good enough. Thank you, Superintendent.
Ben,
Go ahead.
I was with Nucor folks today, and they're bringing more and more people coming, and they said there's a misnomer that Nucor is just go in and grind steel, but I mean they need workforce in all varieties, from business to accounting to, I mean, they just listed 7, 8, 9 areas. And they said, we need people in this county. We need to help produce and elevate their abilities so that we are ready to help them, so they don't have to bring people from North Dakota and Florida and Texas to move here to do the jobs. They want us to ready ourselves. And so that partnership, in addition to this CAPS program and other things, we see them being involved in this, and then us bringing kids to get in there so that they can be more readily available for the jobs that are coming to our county.
To echo what Superintendent Meekum has said, if you've been down Watery Lane recently here in Brigham City, Nucor Building Systems is building a new plant. They've stripped the dirt away and they've started to build a facility. I was in a meeting with them. That will be, it's not top secret, that's going to be a new power pole division that's made. They make power poles out of metal, and that will all be computer aided welding. And it's not just huge companies. There's an individual that's here on the back wall. He works for Bear Valley Co-op out in Corinne. Their facility, they can accept seed or fertilizer, and then there's 0 human contact until it's bagged and put on a pallet at the end. And they have a massive, huge yellow robot that's all computer-aided, technically computer-aided manufacturing. And we ship seed for all over the world, or fertilizer all over the world. I've been there when bags are labeled in Chinese. So it's not just huge companies. Our students that ultimately will come out of our buildings, not just out of CAPS, but they have to compete at an industry standard, which is what we hope to provide here in Box Elder School District. So, sorry, back to my presentation because we're probably going to be a late board meeting. A lot of the offices are not, like I said, normal classrooms. There's spaces that are designed just to work together. You can see there's little pods where multiple students can just work with. They can plug in their laptop, their phones will connect to those TVs. Any electronic device can connect to those TVs and they can work together. There's multiple little offices that just have, like any business, they just have a little conference table so they can meet with their mentor. There's technology there that they can go over whatever they need to. And it sounds weird to say that's the classroom, but that's what these students, when they graduate, will be experiencing. And so that's what the CAPS program has. There's just one last one, and again, it just shows a kind of a slightly different pod setup with 4 chairs, a slightly bigger table, and again, technology. So, sorry for the boring PowerPoint, but that's the CAPS program. I can't speak to business because any student that wants to go into business can apply and get into CAPS. But as far as education goes, after second trimester, we should have 43 students that potentially could go into the Aspiring Educators program in CAPS, and we hope to continue to grow that.
I have a quick question. So tell me, I heard of Aspiring Educators business and then an engineering's coming online. Yes. Are those the only ones we have right now, or is that?
The future pathways will depend on demand, supply and demand.
Sure.
There will be an agriculture, there'll be a computer science, there'll be manufacturing, which sounds weird that manufacturing would be separate than engineering, but that is the case. I guess the flagship of our state would be the Catalyst Center in Davis School District, and I believe they are up to 28 pathways in their innovation center that they're looking to expand. Granite School District is building their own CAPS building. We partnered with Bridgerland, so we got that space for a discounted rent. But Granite's going to build a $42 million building just to house their CAPS program.
So when you say, like,
it's a lot of money.
Do we have all the programs, like the classes before that, to build up to CAPS?
Yes.
Do they have? I guess I just want to get an overview of, like, what is it, like, I'm a student, I'm coming in, what do I need to do to actually get into the CAPS or to do that my senior year?
That's an excellent question. So in every area that we could push into CAPS, we have pathways in our district. Another one would be health or human services. We have all of those pathways already, and we will continue to expand. There's the state just pushed out a new pathway in AI that we've reached out to teachers to pilot, and we've also we are going to pilot here in Box Elder School District through CTE the transportation and logistics pathway that is being created. They're not stopping, and with the inland port, along with all of the manufacturing we have in our county, it seems dumb not to agree to a pilot here in our district, and we already have multiple teachers that are on board for that. But yes, all of our pathways could end in CAPS someday. Excellent question. Go ahead, Mrs. Cronin.
So did I understand you right that we have 8 students that are participating now?
We do not have any currently first trimester because nobody wanted to. It's a sacrifice to give up their half a day. So because of Bridgerland, they have to split. But we have 8 set up for second trimester, and the sky's the limit third trimester. We could have, I hate to say we're going to compete, but we are going to compete against Cash and Logan for spots. It's the reality. We have 7 high schools feeding into a program that it's baby and infant, and we have just 30 spots. We're only running in the afternoon. Next year, we're already pushing for a first half of the day, 1, 2, 3, and then a second half of the day, 4, 5, and 6, which would give our students more flexibility as well as other students in our consortium. But it's growing extremely fast.
So these 8 students that we're gonna get in second trimester, are
Yes.
they mainly business? Are they?
Because we taught Teal 1010 at Bear River High last year, 4 of them are aspiring educators, potentially are aspiring educators. Now, they still could change their mind. I'm working with Logan, not Logan, I apologize, Cache School District. We have the next registration window. We have not set a date, November 3rd through the 7th. We actually are bringing one of their registrars over here, so our parents and students don't have to travel anywhere to register. That we bring them here, so then it makes it easier for our kids to get into the CAPS program. I'm thinking I think it's Thursday the 6th is going to be the day, but I put it to our counselor departments to give me the best day for our students.
Thank you.
No problem.
I have
exciting.
one more question, Ben.
Go ahead.
So does each student have an individual mentor from business, or?
That's a great question. It depends on the project. Sometimes projects are bigger, so they'll assign 2 or 3 kids, which gives our kids the opportunity to not compete, but partner with other kids in other districts. Sometimes projects are small enough that they can do a 1-to-1.
So we have to have willing mentors from
Yes,
these businesses. Is that a problem to find them, or we have more than we can?
Not right now. So luckily our teachers are great. They're totally awesome to say, yeah, I'd love to have a more or less a student teacher come in and learn. And in business, we have more businesses lined out than we have students right now. There's that many businesses that, and maybe that's because CAPS has been built in other areas in our state. And so businesses already know about it.
So is it just businesses over in Cache, or do we have businesses in Box Elder that are?
Me and Mr. Torrey, the director of CAPS, we are visiting businesses on our side of the mountain as well. That way our kids wouldn't have to travel as far once they're in the program.
So if they get in the program and their business is in Box Elder, do they still have to get on the bus and go to Bridgerland for CAPS, or
they would go over once in a great while to visit with Mr. Torrey, who's the director, just to make sure that the project is on task, just like you would have a project manager in the real world. You'd still meet with them occasionally to make sure your project's moving forward. But yeah, it's having watched CAPS programs, sometimes kids don't even go to class. They go directly to the business and meet with their mentor and then get to work.
Okay.
And so it sounds weird, but it's very tight and loose at the same time.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay, so is it like the same, if they were gonna be going to Bridgerland anyway, is it the same time frame? So they just get on the bus with the?
Yeah, it's the same bus, yes. Which saves our district a ton of money. We can actually use the bus to its full potential.
And I'm just curious, how are students learning about the program?
That's a great question. Right now, it's word of mouth. With the program being more or less capped at 30 students across 7 high schools, we literally have just a few golden tickets, I called it. That's how I pitched it to my counselors. Right now, it's literally the best of the best. And it doesn't have to be GPA. Please understand, that was not a requirement, because sometimes our best students don't have a 4.0. And so when you look at an entire high school, like say Box Elder High School, across the 450, 500 individual senior class, you only have 1, 2, or 3 students that you're like, you really need to do this. We have sent marketing information out to students. The CAPS consortium has created advertising. The 8 students that we have for second trimester all received personal phone calls and conversations with me. Mr. Meekin can confirm I met with a student at Box Elder High School on Monday to answer some questions she had. I've visited with parents individually, and then I send an acceptance letter to all of the students that have gotten into second trimester. Moving forward, on the 30th of this month, I'm taking all the counselors to the CAPS program. We're going to go over and visit Bridgerland, but then we're going to go, because we're at Bridgerland, we're going to go to the CAPS program itself, and they're going to visit with Mr. Torrey. Ultimately, the counselors will be the ones that will be advertising the CAPS program, but the greatest advertiser will be the students themselves. Word of mouth, student to student, is much more powerful than me with a megaphone yelling from the mountaintop. Even though I think it's cool, the kids will be better at advertising than I ever will.
Mr. Wiley, thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you. It's going to be exciting to see this program grow over the next few years. Okay, we have our monthly financial report now from Mr. Neil Stevens, our business administrator.
Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to provide some background on this report. So from an accounting perspective, there are two main ways that accounting works, either on a cash basis or on an accrual basis. Then we come to governments, and we have a third option. It's called modified accrual. A cash basis is somewhat like a checkbook. When you receive your money recorded in, when you spend your money recorded as well. However, in an accrual basis, we try and match the timing of the expenditure with the timing of receiving the money and using that asset. An example is a lease on a building. Even though we make a payment on that long-term lease in that year, we don't recognize the expense in that year. We recognize it over the life of the lease. So in the case of school districts, we're not required to do that. We don't do that, except at the very end of our audits. And we have to present our financial statements in a way that are comparable to the finances of a accrual basis. However, monthly, we have reports like this that shows money received each month, money expended each month. At the end of the report, towards the bottom, you'll see the expenses are quite a little bit less than the revenues coming in. It would appear that we would have, for example, in our main operations funds, nearly $10 million to surplus. Well, that's not accurate because on a cash basis we do. But at the end of the school year, we are still responsible for teacher contracts for another 2 months from the prior school year. So when we do our financial statements, we are allocating that extra revenue to teacher contracts from the prior year. So in actuality, we're only turning over $1.5 million, maybe $2 million each year in our operations funds, which is a pretty slim margin when we consider the expenses. We have around $135 million expenses, and we're only saving about $1 million a year of our revenue. So I bring that for the benefit of the public and also for the board to understand when looking at this, although it appears that we have a lot of extra revenue, we really do not when we apply the accounting principles at the end of the year. With that being said, last year's financials are still being worked on. Our deadline for reporting to the state of Utah, USBE, the Utah State School Board, and the State Auditor's Office is coming up on October 1st. We're preparing for that. We're still making some adjustments with our auditors and their recommendations, and we hope to have make that deadline early. Hopefully by around the 20th of September, we'll be ready to submit and have a final financial report available for the board. With that being said, this month, we're in the second month of the fiscal year. That would be August. And so majority of our revenue that we're receiving in this so far in the year comes from state sources. So we receive 1/12 of our annual allocation each month from state sources. Our local revenues that are trickling in right now are coming from past property taxes that have been due. They haven't been paid in previous years. That are now being paid now. The bulk of our revenue from local sources, i.e. property taxes, will get deposited in our accounts in January. Because the way it works is that payments are due by November 30th. A lot of times those payments don't clear the bank at the county level until December. Well, what's collected in December is deposited in our account from the county in January. So the bulk of our money, essentially we have to float our operations or borrow from savings for the first 3 or 4 months of the year. Then we receive that money from the county, and then we can begin to pay back the funds. So far, do we have any questions from the board about this? No? Okay. I would say, to summarize, we are in an excellent position fiscally. We have adequate reserves to meet our expenses, and our monthly revenues collected are adequate to meet our needs at this moment. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Nielsen. Stevens. I don't know if anybody can tell, but I came tonight very distracted, as I hope, I don't think I'm the only one, but maybe the only one who needs to not be distracted completely. But I appreciate your patience with me tonight. Moving on to our policy review. Actually, our board committee reports. Does anyone have a committee report from any meetings you've attended, or?
I do.
Good.
And going along with what Mr. Wiley said, I don't know if you go on the 29th rather than the 30th, Ben, you get ice cream if you go to Bridgerland. Bridgerland has having their Get the Scoop open house on September 29th from 5 to 8 at their campus there in Logan with free tours for the students, their parents, or anybody who's interested. And there will be Aggie ice cream there for people. They're just trying to help get the information out of all the programs they've got and the opportunities that they have to partners with business and things like that. So again, that's September 29th from 5 to 8 at the Bridgerland campus in Logan.
So with that, is Bridgerland, do they claim the caps? So like, will they tour that part of it, or is that us and they don't really advertise that?
They will not be advertising the CAPS program. But again, we rent space from them, and we partnered with them because they see it as an opportunity to actually get more students in their program. But the event she's talking about, this is the second year. I am scheduled to be there that night because, oh yeah, well, I don't get the ice cream. I'm already fat enough. But it was a huge success last year. It was so amazing. But it's at their main campus, and there's opportunities for little kids to big kids and parents to really see all the programs. So, but they will not be advertising the CAPS at all. It's just Bridgerland, and it is awesome. And we have those flyers that Board Member Cronin is showing. They're already out in the buildings in both our high schools and in both our middle schools. It's an awesome deal.
Thank you. Is that maybe something Mrs. Kent could take a picture of the flyer and get it on our either? I think that'd be awesome. Thank you. Are you enjoying that, committee? Yeah? Good. Any other committee reports tonight?
Can I ask how the building thing is going?
Yes, you can. And I think what the plan is the facilities committee meets next week, and then after that, it will be presented to the board in the October work session. Not by the facilities, not by the three of us, but by Corey. So yes.
Along that same line, I'm just wondering, given the comments that we've had in public comment, all three of them combined, is there any opportunity to look at this as, to reconsider it and maybe come with a compromise, looking at what we've been asked by thousands of our community members in answering the questions there, and also in DJ's comments about, trying to do something that's proactive, but maybe trying to compromise in what that is.
I don't think that's on the agenda to talk about in the future.
Could it be?
We could not reverse the tax rate until next year,
That's correct.
'cause that was a
That's already
deadline.
put into motion.
But
So I guess if you're suggesting that for a future board meeting,
That would be great. I just know that that's a lot of constituents that we need their trust. And where they've come officially and asked us to reconsider it, I was just wondering if we were just gonna say thank you and not do anything, or if we were gonna actually deal with their request to reconsider it.
I guess I don't know that I could only speak for myself without discussing that as a board. But I know the tax rate. I've signed the paper. It's been submitted.
Mr.
Neil?
Stevens, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm not aware of a mechanism to reverse a tax rating setting policy or procedure that's already been approved by the board via resolution and signed. Additionally, the deadline to set tax rates was and pass the budget was September 1st. So I'm not aware of a mechanism where we could reverse that or change the rate to be collected.
I guess I could ask in this meeting if anyone else wants to change your prior vote or stance or.
But if there's no mechanism, then what's the point
Yeah,
of that?
and I was going to say, if there's no mechanism, I don't think it's a valuable use of time. I don't think any of us are deaf to what we've been asked. And anybody that talks to me, I'm willing to have a conversation with them and get ideas. We're trying to get feedback, but nothing. And some of the comments are like, it was just a rubber stamp. You didn't. I have been thinking about this for months, and I read every email and everything that they came. So even though that night it might have been said, like last month, they said, you didn't listen to us, we came and you voted anyhow. That's not true. Nothing that I heard that night was any different than I had heard in weeks and months prior to that. And so, you know, if I had heard something that was like, oh wow, yeah, hadn't thought about that, maybe that is something. But to your question, Tiffany, no, my stance hasn't changed. I know it's very unpopular with a large group of people, and I don't think that we're out of line in what we're asking. I do recognize that it is difficult. I do recognize that it is a lift. I wish we would have done it differently in years past so it wasn't so much now. But I don't think saying, oh, let's back off and compromise, then we're not going to accomplish anything, because we wouldn't be able to progress. We would just do something. And where there's no mechanism to actually do it, I think that's kind of trying to skirt government. Well, we need to follow laws, procedures, rules, orders, which we have done that.
I personally feel like we've talked about this, and I've already read the resolution, and looked over signatures, and I feel like we've been talking about this for 2 years or more. And so.
Point of order, President, this is not on the agenda to discuss this, so.
You're absolutely right. Thank you. Okay. All right, a policy review. Let's move on to policy review. We first have policies to delete.
I would make a motion that we approve the policies to delete.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Moving on to the policies on first reading.
On policies for first reading, I have some questions. I did get with Marcy and gave her some grammatical things.
Thank you.
Questions on policy 3091. It talked about more than full-time. What is more than full-time?
Where's that?
What line again?
It talked about it throughout the policy, but I can pull it up. Page 2B1.
In our district, full-time is 30 hours or more. It's considered full-time benefited staff.
So what is more than full-time?
Well, I think it's
Full-time would go up to, I would think, anything that.
I think it's delineating.
So it's meaning employees who work 30 hours or more.
Wouldn't that be full-time? So what is?
Because 30 hours is full-time.
But then
Which page is this on?
Page 2B1.
Full-time is 30 and more than full-time could be 35 or 40.
Which I see what you're saying is still full time, right?
It's just full-time, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, just because it is in the state policy, I just would like to understand it. What is?
Right. Full time is full time. I don't know why it's worded as more than full time, but you want us to take out the more than?
I just want to understand it, yes.
can I ask a question? Like when it says a prorated amount reflecting the amount works less than or more than full-time, is that where it's saying the prorated amount, like if you, I guess I'm just trying to clarify, like Karen, like the 30 hours, and then if you work 40 hours, then you're prorated.
No, you only get the 3 weeks. When I went to the UPara meeting about this, they talked about that if you didn't work the full amount of time, then you would get less than that.
The prorated that way, but not prorated more.
Right,
So-
3 weeks is the maximum, or 15 days, not, just to clarify, it's 15 days, 3 working weeks. So.
It just sounds like we don't know what it is, so I'll move on. The next one I have a question about is policy 5065. Let me get there.
In reading that, I'm wondering if that's what it's meant to interpret is, like, we have full-time employees who also coach, and we won't take time away from their daily contract and away from their coaching to fulfill those responsibilities. Or, for example, if you're gone on a parent-teacher conference night, we're not going to take your daily rate and the parent-teacher conference night. It's just part of that 3 weeks. That's what I'm interpreting that.
That's what you're interpreting, but we should probably know.
Okay, so Mayor Bott Googled it on AI, and that always gives us a good answer. And it says working more than full-time refers to overtime hours. So even though you're working more than full-time, you're still allotted the 3 weeks. Like it's not prorated on your additional hours. You're only getting the 15 days.
So do we
if
have
you were
overtime in this
full-time or
school
more than
district?
full-time.
Just like what Heidi
extra
just explained.
assignments that people are doing, or if we have a contracted para who then fills in for somebody else and they are working more than their full-time hours, which we try to avoid, but that could happen. It could be a possibility.
Okay, policy 5065, I think it's page 2. Tried to make little notes here, but it talks about that the board may consult, and I'm like, why would the board be the one consulting? Page number 8. Number 8, thank you.
I think in general, when it refers to the board, it talks about the board through its designees, and that would be us doing the work in the name of the board.
So usually if that's the case, wouldn't it say like the superintendent or his designees?
They're adopting language used by the State Board of Education when drafting these, and that's how the rules read as well. It says the board. It's understood that the board refers to the superintendent or his or her designees.
We delegate to individuals to do it.
And we usually do that, but in most policies, it specifically calls out the superintendent, so I was just wondering why it called out the board there.
It may be a difference in authors in drafting these policies between the various. USBA drafts these policies for us based on laws passed by the legislator and or laws and rules passed by the state board. So it could be a difference in authors why this appears this way. I think the effect is the same.
That was my questions, thank you.
Any further questions or discussion on policies for first reading?
I move that we approve policies on first reading.
I second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. We are to policies on second reading.
I move we accept the policies on second reading.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of those? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. We are moving now to consent items. Do we have a motion?
Can I ask a question first, or is that now when I ask a question? The real estate agent services contract, do we already talk about that then? Or how did we come up with that?
Neil, would you like to?
Prior to my arrival at the board, an RFP was conducted, I want to say last September, for a real estate agent. A committee was formed to review the proposals, and then interviews were conducted, and the committee then provided the scoring sheet. At the time, nothing was selected due to the absence of a business administrator and due to the activities surrounding the bond. Since then, we conducted another RFP for a real estate agent. There was no response. Statewide publication was posted on the State Procurement Office website, and there was no response from anyone. So we went back to the original RFP proposal and the results. This was direction given by the State Procurement Office to me that was allowable to do because we had no response to the second RFP. And we we're proposing to select the winner or the selected company to represent us in real estate that was selected back in October.
And we reviewed that.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Well, we didn't make a selection for it at the time. I believe that we postponed the decision on that till a future date, and that's now. But the committee already reviewed that and proposed that, and we had board members on that committee.
So have we reviewed that recently? Sorry, is this important? I don't even know. I've never worked with real estate. I don't know.
No, it is important, and this is your opportunity to approve it. Or if you have questions regarding that, of course, this is a great time to ask those questions. But a committee did review, and I mean, yeah, there was an RFP committee and went through interviews and went through that whole process.
So we just can still, it's still accurate? Like, this is still up to date?
Just what he explained, the process, yes.
Yeah, we conducted the process. We attempted to see if there's any additional solicitees out there that were interested in bidding on this project. None came forward during the time period. It was about 30 days it was open for, and we didn't receive any solicitations. So we reverted back to our previous solicitation, respecting the decision of the RFP committee at the time.
So in this, it talks about in return for a negotiated commission. Is that something that you can email us out what that is?
It should be attached in the later sections. Yeah, it's a standard commission structure. 6%, since this is a broker, any sales that we conduct, they'll collect the 6%, distribute the 3% to the buyer's broker. Any transactions where we purchase real estate, the other broker will collect the commission and distribute to our agent as well.
I was on the committee back, when was that then, that we did
It was October.
September, October.
interviewing, and this realtor, he had a really great knowledge of especially Box Elder County North, and has a lot of experience. The whole committee was very comfortable with. Keith could speak to that.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, he's done projects on both ends of the district. He's also worked with school districts in Salt Lake area. I want to say Canyons and Jordan are the two that I recollect.
And Granite.
And Granite. So this realtor and their company has worked with so many. He is originally a Bear, the one that was part of this, and so he's very familiar with the way schools need representation. He was very familiar with the district, north and south, and really it was all of that. And none of the others had ever done anything with school districts per se, and he had had plenty of projects down in the Salt Lake Valley in all these districts of helping acquire and sell property. So I feel like it's a great thing, and as I recollect that RFP situation, it really stood out as our number one. I think they would have accepted had we moved forward at the time. The fact that we didn't may have disenchanted people, which is why when we go out to RFP for the second time, we get 0. Kind of like we did a whole bunch of work and you gave us nothing. And now we're coming back following the guidance of the state. I think it's a good decision. We're lucky that they're still interested since nobody else was. And we had several really, really good candidates that were there before. I think it would be a wise thing to jump on board now.
I would add that this selected real estate agency specializes in commercial real estate, not residential real estate. A lot of there are 3 other applicants, and the majority of their work was in the residential sector. So I feel like this, and I wasn't on the committee, but my personal opinion is this person represents a better interest for us and what we're trying to achieve.
Any other questions, concerns about consent items?
I just wanted to do a shout out to all of the administrators and staff that did interviews for all of those new hires. That's a really big list. That was a lot of work. So thank you for all that hard work. Very happy we had that many positions filled, but we probably still have more, right?
So with that, can I ask a question? Were we able to have all of our positions filled at for the start of school? Did we have all of our positions, our teaching positions filled for the start of school? So with all of those later. Thank you.
Do we still have para positions open though? Okay. I figured, but and bus drivers. All right.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve the consent items.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Okay, suggestions for future board meetings.
I just have one request, I think. Are we gonna find out how kindergarten went? How the new intake went? Can we?
We haven't had a meeting with the grade level chairs yet. The principals meeting is Monday. It's on the agenda for Monday with principals. I'm still hearing feedback from parents and getting it from teachers, and then we have grade level chairs. So I'm first going to meet with the kindergarten team before I'd be able to give you any information.
Well, so for the
on how
next
they
board
went.
meeting, is that something that we?
Is that something we could have a report in the work session prior?
Oh, that'd be
Would
great.
that be all right, Stephanie?
Yeah,
Is you
yeah.
good with that?
There was a teacher that's done a lot of work discussing instructional time and different schedules. I met with Mr. Jensen from Bear River High School. He has some information. He felt like if he could have 10 minutes to explain it, whether that's inside of a board meeting or whether that's a work session. I've listened to the report, and it's something I'm familiar with and realize why, as a math teacher, he might be concerned. And he's got a lot of good information. I don't know where the best place to put that, because he has information he wants to share, so I don't know if it's an informational item or if it's a work session. But I also mentioned, I think we said that there might be some information in October with the facilities of the new builds that might be talked about, and then if this is talked about, we're gonna run out of time in that hour
work
prior.
session.
So it could be shoved to November. Anyway, any thoughts on that?
I think he's got, I mean, from what he said, he has a pretty concise presentation ready. I think that would be a good information item
Yeah, okay.
for board meeting.
November, I'm just looking at already like he said, our October meetings.
But you were speaking of the October work session, not the regular
Yeah,
board
I'm just
meeting.
wondering
Yeah.
if the facilities and then maybe a kindergarten update, we're gonna run out of time if we put it in the
work session.
Now, if we were to put it in the board meeting for 10 minutes, or, I can say, hey, let's get real,
Yeah.
we could do it that
I
way.
hate to push him back. He had asked, anyway, we talked about September. I hate to push him back another month. So I think during the regular board meeting, not the work session.
Okay, I'll work with Marcy and get a time and put him in that. Is that all right, Steve? Yeah. Okay.
So
Thank you.
the facilities will be during the work session because it's not on the October agenda? Facility discussion? It would be in the
Yes.
work session?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably the only thing in that work session. Yeah, we,
Maybe we could add, and suggestions for future board meetings include our work session stuff too.
good idea. So maybe it separates that on the suggestions for future board meeting. It gets separated. Okay. That's a good idea. Karen, I see what you're saying. That list is, yeah. I hate to keep pushing him down the road.
Something that if we acted on, I mean, it would be an information item, right?
Yes,
So,
for now, yes.
An information item, I think, would be just as applicable in November if it's not something that we're taking action on.
Okay.
If it's not time sensitive, I guess I'm asking.
Right. Okay. We don't have anything for board handbook attachments or instructions today. And seeing that we have accomplished everything on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned.